Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go, go, go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Be Happy Now show. I'm your host, Claudia-Sam, your soul connection coach. And I wanted to bring to you in this episode the opportunity to have control over how you organize your day so that it doesn't feel like you are stuck in the hustle bustle of the city, of the go, 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 of the work, 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 of all the tasks, all the to-do lists, and that you start your day with that in mind and end your day with that in mind. And it just keeps going in this loop, in this cycle that just doesn't seem to end. And maybe it's not serving you. And so I thought, okay, let's find a soothing meditation. Let's offer that up to you so that wherever you are at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, you can tune into that and you can allow for just more ease and flow in your day. Not only will I share with you meditations on this episode, but I will also share what I do so that I don't get stuck in the overwhelm, so that the day or the outside circumstances, the outside environment of where I am doesn't feel like it's actually making me feel stuck in this cycle, but instead that I have control over it. So I'm going to share that with you as well. So that'll be fun. I'm going to share an example, a story of why this came about and who am I to even share that with you? So if you aren't aware, if it's the first time that you're listening to the Be Happy Now show, or even if you've been a listener for over 30 something episodes, you might know, or you might not know that I used to work in the corporate environment. I worked in media for over 10 years. And then I worked for a really cool company who offered circus events all over the world. And I got to do that, which was so fun. Not circus, but sell the events. And what happened is that when I went from my media job, not really knowing and being able to listen to the signs my body was telling me, when I was getting sick every 3 to 4 months, I was burning out slowly. I wasn't listening to my boundaries. I was overworking, but I didn't really know how to listen to it. So what happened is that I thought, okay, I'm going to change jobs. And by changing jobs, it's just going to help me find a new solution. I'm just going to change jobs, set my boundaries, and it's going to be done. That's going to be the answer. Except what happened is that, well, I just took my overworking attitude and my overdoing work ethic with me. So, excuse me, at this new job, well, I wasn't necessarily better. It wasn't better. It wasn't a better solution for me. So what happened is that I burned out, and I remember I couldn't breathe. I felt like my chest was so constricted and my breath was shallow. I felt the pressure at my heart. I felt like there was a tremor in my chest. It almost felt like my heart was going to get out of my chest somehow. And I didn't know how it was going to just be healthy. I didn't know how I was going to be healthy. I didn't know how I was going to get out of that situation. I was literally in a ball behind my desk at my office. And that was kind of a turning point for me to the overworking, overdoing, go, go, go lifestyle that I had been living in, that I had known all my life, because I thought that that's what would have brought me more success, more results, upper in the management, higher up in the corporate world. And I thought that that lifestyle would bring me more responsibilities and more happiness somewhere down the road. And instead, well, it didn't. It didn't. And I'm not here to say you have to stop everything and change careers and say no to everything and become a yogi at the top of a mountain in Nepal. No, that's not what I'm saying. There is a way to balance, or rather to find an equilibrium, to find an alignment. That's the word I'm going to use today. The alignment that belongs to you, the alignment of what your happy place within is, finding your alignment of flow so that the hustle, bustle, external circumstances, work, people's expectations, so that those don't interfere with your alignment with flow within. How does that sound? Maybe you're like, yeah, Claudia-Sam, that's not possible. I take the car to work and I'm stuck in traffic, and then, or I take the bus and it's moving and I can't seem to concentrate. So many people are asking so many things of me. This is impossible. This is what I know. This is what I do. If I stop, I'm not going to be productive. If I stop, it means that my to-do list is going to be even bigger. If I stop catching all the balls that everyone is sending me, then, well, I'm not going to be the best worker. I'm not going to be the best employee. They're not going to want to count on me anymore. They're not going to think of me for other opportunities. Does that resemble what's happening inside your mind? Here's the deal. I'm your soul connection coach, coming from a place of, yep, I've been there. And my intention is to help you flex your soul connection muscle, become your own inner guide to that flow within, to that alignment with what feels good. And please keep in mind that what feels good for you is and might be super different than what feels good to me. This is where you get to fully hone into, tune in with what feels like is your next step, what feels like is your flow, your alignment. Maybe there's even another word that comes to you that you would like to switch alignment or flow with, because you get to use my words and listen to the Be Happy Now show and make your own way, your own path from that. I'm going to give you an example. Actually, before I go there, I do want to share that if ever you're like, yeah, I just want to get on a call with you. I just want to feel better. I want to find myself again. I want to be able to nurture this place within and put myself at the top of the to-do list without guilt. And I want to do it now. Then please go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/yes and just book a chat. Let's chat heart to heart, no strings attached. You can tell me your story and I'd love to know you. And if I can't help you, if there's nothing in my services, or if it feels like we're not even a fit, then I'm happy to recommend you with some of my peers, or maybe even just share with you some of my free offerings and meditations that could be the next best step for you. And if you're curious about my tune-in method and the methodology that I use to support my clients and my one-on-one and group offerings, then I invite you to go to tuneinmethod.com. All right, so here's the story and why I wanted to bring this topic for this episode of the Be Happy Now show. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of attending an in-person all-women's event, and it was in Montreal, which is about an hour and 15 minutes drive from my house. I live near a lake in the mountains with a forest in my backyard, and this is my peace. This is where I access harmony. This is where I feel abundant, grounded, connected. The silence of the birds, the silence of the air, the presence of greenery, that is very resourceful to me. And I need to say that this used to not be it. If someone would have told me 6 years ago, hey, you're going to live in the Eastern Townships and you're going to have a house near a lake and you're not going to live in the city, I would have laughed in their face and I would have said, are you kidding? That's not possible. Because I was such a city person. And I'm not saying that everyone who's a yogi, everyone who meditates, everyone who chills and tunes in needs to go live in the country and will definitely change their whole life, like complete opposites. Not at all. This is just my journey, okay? what happened yesterday is that my boyfriend drove me to the nearest bus stop to the city. I took the bus straight to the terminal downtown, and the hotel where the event was happening was like a 2.5-minute walk, which I knew. So it felt really good. It felt really easy. I felt super great to just go, oh, yeah, I'm being driven there. It just feels so good. When I got to the event, it was a lot of outgoing energy. There was a lot of networking. There was and I love that. I love connecting with people. And I'm also very mindful that I'm very sensitive to other people's energies, not in the way that I will necessarily cry in front of someone if I can feel their pain, but just more in the sense that there's a density of the space around me that happens, and it kind of compresses the inner energy in my body. It's hard to explain, and it's not like this for everyone. And for me, that's my experience. And then at the end of the day, I took the bus back, and my boyfriend drove me back here. So after his work day. And it was the first time that I recognized the contrast of the city and where I live so quickly. Because sometimes I'll go in the city for the weekend, I'll go visit my mom and my friends, and it doesn't feel so much as a city or as this old life that I used to have. It doesn't resemble it so much, except yesterday was a weekday, and it it was a mirror to how I used to live my life before I chose this path of living in Nepal, traveling, yoga teacher training, becoming a coach, an entrepreneur. And I want to share with you what I did to allow for a beautiful, flowy day in alignment, even if I could have easily just been super affected by, like I mentioned, other people's energies. And I could have ended up at the end of the day drained and really tired. But there are three main things that I committed to throughout the day. And I'm going to share these three main things, and I'm going to invite you to tune in and feel into, are those three things something that resonate with you? Is it something you could commit to? And if they're not, what would be the three commitments you can take on the next time you find yourself outside of the calm inner energy, that nurturing inner space of who you are? Okay. The first thing that I did is that I made a conscious choice to have more space before I left my happy place. So before I left home, and please hear me, this is really early, we were leaving the house at 6:05. Ideally 5:55, but that wasn't going to happen. So 6:05 turned 6:10, but still, we left the house at 6:10 in the morning. Okay. I knew that I needed some time and space to be with myself outside of the hustle before the hustle was going to come into my day. So I planned to wake up earlier. The first thought I had was, okay, I'm going to wake up 1 hour before. So I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock. But when I went to bed, I realized that an hour was not enough, because I can meditate for 20 minutes and then I want to take my time getting ready. So let's say 20 minutes getting ready. Let's say just another 20 minutes to take a shower, make my bed, maybe make a smoothie. That's already at the hour. And I feel rushed because there's always more time that we need. So even though I had put my alarm at 5 a.m., before going to bed, I asked positive energy source, maybe you could say I asked the night, to wake me up before, because I knew that that wouldn't be enough. And I actually was easing into sleep at that time. So I didn't want to just take my phone and change my alarm. Well, guess what? The night or the day woke me up at 4:48. And that felt perfect. I just needed those 12 extra minutes, or maybe extra if you count the fact that we left at 6:10, whatever, details. What I want to say is that the first commitment I made was to create space for myself in the morning. I didn't plan the exact meditation I was going to do. I didn't plan exactly where I was going to meditate. I didn't plan exactly what I was going to do. I did prepare my backpack with my computer and notepads and, stuff I wanted to make sure I have for the day ahead. I had planned that prior. But space before starting the quote unquote busy day is really a commitment that I am making to myself, and that I'm committed to taking, because that spaciousness allows me to invite more spaciousness throughout the day. It sets the tone, it sets the intention for the whole day ahead. So the first commitment that I made to myself was to create space in the morning before the day was coming at me. Okay. Now, so in that morning, I did a meditation. And the second commitment I did is that meditation allowed me to connect to that second commitment. So again, it's not like I started my day knowing for sure what the three commitments would be, but because I allowed for space in the morning, that allowed for me to receive exactly what were my intentions of the day, exactly how I was going to create even more space in my day. So it just kind of unraveled because I trusted the flow. I trusted that from that first commitment of making space in the morning, then everything else just happens so fluidly and effortlessly. Okay. The second commitment that came through from that meditation I did in the morning was that I chose to intentionally connect with divine energy. I intentionally chose to connect with divine energy. What does that mean? It means that through the meditation that I did in the morning, I remembered my true essence. This physical body that we're in, it's a physical body. It's the vehicle that allows us to have experiences with the world. It is this body that allows us to be creative. It is this body that allows us to make decisions. It's this body that allows us to live the life that we're living and to have all these beautiful and less beautiful experiences of life, because we are human. What I believe in and what I choose to lead my life from is the idea that I am a soul in a human body. I am a soul living a human experience. And the first time I learned this was in my yoga class from my teacher, Bram Levinson at Luna Yoga in Montreal. He kept saying that this is the human experience. And at first I was like, what does he mean? And the more I was able to allow space in my life to connect in, to tune into who I am, hence my tune in method that you can check out at tuneinmethod.com. Well, I started to building that confidence within me to keep accessing that divine energy of the soul and not letting the soul lead so much. What that means is that instead of letting the hustle of the day, the the to-do lists, the stress take over the day, instead, I choose to let the soul, the divinity, the essence of who I am, the slow flow, the calm nature of who I am lead instead of the ego. That's the dance between ego and soul, really. And if you haven't yet checked out my personal Facebook page, I've been dancing with ego and soul for many days. Today, we are actually on day 62 of 90. And I've just opened up Dancing with Ego and Soul to participants. So if you want to play for free and recognize that duality, the dual energies of doing and being, of what the inner critic is saying, and of what the soul wants to allow in your life. And if you just want to be aware of both of these in your body and in the human experience, then please join me. Go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/ego versus soul. So it's /ego vs soul. And you can register for free at any time until the end of the 90 days. And you'll get daily support. And I'm going to ask you daily questions so that you can just be curious with yourself and with your experience. And we also have one live Q&A and live coaching session that you can join. And even if you're listening to this episode of the Be Happy Now show later, and you're not, because this is June 16, and if you are listening later after July 14th, which will be the last day of Dancing with Ego and Soul, then please don't hesitate to friend me on Facebook. Let me know you heard this episode of the Be Happy Now show. And then we can go from here. Maybe I can even share the videos with you, and you could still play along. Who knows? So the second commitment, just to go back to our discussion today, the second commitment I made to myself is to connect with divine energy. Let that soul lead. Remember that I'm not just a body. Remember that I get to be connected from the top of the head and the soles of the feet. I get to be connected to what I like to call positive energy source, because it's not just about doing. It's not just about the mind thinking things and making sense of things. It's about the essence of allowing, of trusting, of openness, and of capital L love. Because when we start to see things through the eyes of love, things shift, our perspectives change, our interactions with others, they're just more compassionate and more loving. It's no longer just about our ego and ourselves and moving ourselves and pushing ourselves through the world, but excuse me, it becomes about the community, about the collective, about the oneness of who we are, about that energy. And without attaching just with our ego, it allows for even more abundance and more connections and more expansion to happen. And I was able to see a direct link with me tapping into positive energy source, committing to connecting with my divine essence and with divine energy, allowed me to hold space for people throughout the networking event. It allowed me to have people be seen, see people for who they are, not just for the title of their job and not just for what they do, but rather about the experience that they're having in life, because that's what people really want. We're all here to be happier, to live a more expansive, free, open life. And so if we only focus on what we do, we forget who we really are. We're having a conversation on an ego level, and my intention of connecting with divine energy allowed for the people I was interacting with to access networking from a totally different place. And it felt really good, really good. Okay. So I am going to share a meditation with you, but I'm almost done my 3 commitments. The first one was to create space in the morning before the day. The second commitment was to connect with divine energy and remember that throughout the day, every time the ego would come in, every time I would feel my body stress out a little bit more, every time I would feel maybe a little anxious, a little stuck in the schedule of things, I would remember my commitment to connecting with divine energy. And that just takes you right out of the hustle, of the doing, of the busy, and it brings you into the being. The third commitment I made to myself is to, at the end of the day, set boundaries. When I took the bus, okay, very quick, when I took the bus out of the city, I meditated on the bus. And to be honest, I got nauseous because the bus driver kept pressing on the gas and then the brake, the gas, the brake, the gas, the brake. And I was like, oh, for frig's sakes, like what is happening? But instead of freaking out and being angry and panicking, I use the meditation and the breathing techniques and tools that I know that are all part of my coaching toolbox, that I teach in my tune-in program as well. I use those tools to calm down, to focus on the present moment. And so that was very beneficial. But to go back to the last commitment of the day, to get out of the hustle and access the being, was to really set boundaries so that I could allow myself to be in the present moment until the end of the day. So at the end of the day, I think I might have made like 30 connections. My ego, if I would have let the ego lead and the ego wanted to keep being in the busy. I could have used my evening looking at all the business cards and all the connections and connecting right away with people because the ego's afraid to miss out on something. But what I did instead is that I set a boundary right there and I said, no, this is where the soul gets to lead. This is my time. So I went to have dinner on the lake at the end of my street, not with my phone. I didn't engage. I didn't let the mind make me think and believe that I'm going to be a bad person or that people are going to forget me. No, that's the mind thinking it's going to die, thinking it needs to push more, do more, be more. When instead I get to set a boundary that I'm important. I set a boundary with my time. Nope, I'm not going to go and do this. I'm going to be right here, right now, and enjoy that beautiful nature. This is where the contrast, I was able to see it, the contrast between the busy, the hustle, and the calm nature of presence, of being in nature for me. That's how I saw the contradiction or the distinction. And hence, it was important for me to set boundaries now that I was out of the city, out of the hustle bustle. I was able to nurture that space within me. And one of the best ways for me to set boundaries is to not carry my phone. Because whenever I have my phone, there's like this inner light that turns on that says, oh, you have the option to step out of the present moment now and to be with your phone. And instead, I just didn't want to do that. Okay, so the 3 commitments, to recap very quick, was the first one was to create space in the morning before the hustle, before the busy. Create space so that more space can come throughout the day. That allowed for the second commitment to come through, which was for me to constantly connect with divine energy throughout my day. And the third commitment was to set boundaries, to be in the present moment and to choose me, to choose that I'm important, and to not let the ego take over, making me believe all stupid things that are not true. Okay. Now, very quickly, let's do a meditation together. Ready? This meditation, you can do it at the beginning of the day. You can do it at the end to get out of the busy, out of the external circumstances, and arrive back in your heart. Exhale everything. Close your eyes and really feel the container of your body. Feel the edges of your shoulders, the top of your head, around your neck, like you're drawing your awareness all around your skin, drawing with your mind's eye the container of your body all the way to the soles of the feet. And now bring your awareness to the nostrils. Feel the breath move in and the breath move out. If there is frowning, release. If there is clenching at the jaw, let it go. With awareness at the breath, relax your shoulders, relax your belly, and feel the soles of the feet anchored into the earth. On purpose, exhale everything. Inhale through the nose. Feel your breath move up through the soles of your feet, through the core of your body to the heart. Exhale the breath up through the heart, through the throat, up the head and crown of the head. Connect with positive energy source up above your crown. Inhale, draw the energy of positive energy source down through the crown of your head, through the head, throat to the heart. Exhale, bring the energy back down through the core, all the way to the soles of the feet. Inhale, bring the grounding energy of Mother Earth through the soles of your feet, through your legs, core to the heart. Exhale, up through the upper body to connect with divine energy. Inhale down, bring the energy through the crown of the head to the heart. And exhale the energy all the way through the soles of the feet into the depth of Mother Earth. Last time, bring that energy up from Mother Earth through the legs to the heart. Feel expansive at the chest. And exhale your breath, the prana, the life force, up to positive energy source. And inhale last time, bring that connection of energy to the heart. And exhaling, rooting down feeling the soles of your feet. Feel the tingling sensation. Allow yourself to open up to possibilities that can be. And remember that this is your true nature, this connection, this divinity, this vibratory energy. That's who you are. Very slowly open the eyes and remember that you get to access this at any time throughout the day, to remember to connect with divine energy, with who you are, with your essence. Thank you so much for being here with me on this episode of the Be Happy Now show. And I hope to see you again soon. You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. Tune in live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.